The movie starts off with Bilbo Baggins opening up his new book, There and Back Again. The story goes on to explain how the evil Lord Sauron is trying to take over the world, and the only thing holding him back is finding the Ring of Power, which is hidden on Earth and protected by the heir of Isildur, the King of Gondor. India. Flashback ends, the kid is like, yo, auntie, I just had a dream and I think I might be the future king of Gondor. She's like, cool story, kid. I'm Aunt Petunia, physically and metaphorically, so get your orphan ass back in the cupboard. Kid proceeds to have a sulk. Then this random Forrest Gump feather floats all the way into his room. He starts playing with the feather because that's what you do when you have no friends. Uncle Vernon walks in. Kid's like, look, uncle, I made a friend. He's like, yeah, that's a leaf. Kid's like, maybe this leaf will love me because my parents are dead and you guys hate me. He's like, Christ, you don't have to be so blunt about it.
Don't be बहुत special. बहुत special.
20 years later, he's like, peekaboo, I see you, but cousin Dudley just ruins the fun. Indian Aragorn's like, yo, why you gotta be mean? He's like, dude, we're 30 years old. I'm not playing peekaboo.
Get lost.
Aunt Petunia walks in, who apparently hasn't aged a day in 20 years. She's like, oi, peasant, go unload the truck. By the way, Dudley, let's go look at the python at the zoo. Aragorn looks over at his dead uncle's photo like, you lied, uncle. I'm not special.
Hi, Jack. Hey, you need some milk, kid?
No, I'm okay, thanks.
Then I'll go and get myself some beer then.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that just came across like a scene from The Room.
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. You're my favorite customer.
Dude finds a random abandoned puppy in the truck and proceeds to get a little too close for comfort. Cut to maladaptive daydreaming, where this man willingly chose to dress himself as the bullied high school talent show magician.
You couldn't even wear a fedora if your life's dependent on it, because you know what? It's class.
He snaps out of his daydream and proceeds to dance behind this innocent child whose mum takes him away ASAP. I get the point of the scene that no one likes this guy and the directors are trying to make us feel sorry for him. But if a 30-year-old man came up behind my son at nighttime and started doing whatever the fuck this is, I'd pull him out of there ASAP as well. Dude's like, man, my life sucks. I'm better off spending my spare time in an imaginary universe of my creation to cope with my own shortcomings in life.
1, 2, 3, and to the flow. Easy motherfucking E with the chrome to your dome. Cruising in my 6-4 wag top. I got a lot of juice.
Out of all the things you could dream of, this cunt decided to fantasize about dancing with nuns. His daydream gets rudely interrupted. Turns out the local gang wants their weekly protection money.
Hey, guys. Guys, easy.
Dude's like, you got 24 hours, cunt. Give me my 50 pounds.
Comprende? Yeah. Okay, bye.
Who the fuck would be scared of those guys? Did the filmmakers just like Google gangster costume and literally buy the first thing that came up? Despite, you know, no one looking like that for, I don't know, the last 100 years? Step Brothers like, sweep up that glass while I try and find 50 pounds. Next morning, the blue feather makes a comeback after 20 years.
Go away.
Feather's like, don't be sad, friend. Let's turn that frown upside down. By the way, tag you're it. The chase begins and promptly ends.
For me?
My nigga.
He's like, thanks for the present. Now quick, go back to your hiding place before someone realizes that my best friend is a fucking feather and puts me in a mental asylum. Meanwhile, at Isengard, we have Indian Saruman who's trying to make some Urukais and reunite with the Dark Lord.
Perfected by fighting Urukai. Whom do you serve? Saruman.
How are we today, Sister Anne?
You tell me. Isn't it our artist's birthday?
You remember?
Of course I do.
Yeah, mate. But you haven't told us how you're celebrating. It's your birthday.
I mean, when you have no friends, beggars can't be choosers. Spending your birthday with Mother Teresa and Colonel Sanders is better than nothing. Dude sees Saruman's targeted ad on TV and is like, whoa, a real wizard. I'ma check that out. Cut to Saruman on tour.
I'm gonna back away slowly and come back when there's less weird shit.
Hello.
Saruman's like, nice to meet you. Did your kids enjoy the magic show? He's like, I came alone. He's like, oh, normally these meet and greets are reserved for kids aged, 7 to 12. He sees the bracelet and is like, no fucking way. This loser is the king of Gondor. The crowd rushes the stage. Suddenly, anyone who's ever met this cunt in his life shows up to help. Even the gang members want to lend a helping hand, but he's like, yeah, nah. He starts getting chased by some minions from Despicable Me. What fucking ancient tribe are these cunts from that they're using blowpipes to hunt their enemies in the 21st century? Dude starts having some Native American hallucinations, but just when all hope is lost, our savior comes through. Guys are like, who the fuck are you? She's like, I am a product of systemic oppression and I'm here to single-handedly dismantle the patriarchy. Guys are like, oh fuck, not again. Dude wakes up in a random dungeon and checks if his kidneys are still there. He's like, what the fuck is that noise? Yo, this bitch went from Islam to haram real fucking quick.
I would never go around saying that, you need to become fair and that's the only way you'll be beautiful, because I don't endorse that.
New Pond's White Beauty, now with lycopene, gives your skin a radiant pinkish white glow.
Give it to me right now. Say.
Meanwhile, dude's like, why is there a dungeon filled with my pictures? She's like, your parents never told you? You're a wizard, Harry. A what? She's like, my bad, wrong script. You're the heir to the throne is what I meant to say. We've had these agents watch over you, protect you for a long time. You're the only one with the power to take down the evil sorcerer Saruman. He's like, what? The cunt doing magic tricks? He's harmless. Cut to Saruman being like, tell Hagrid to open the portal and let in the ring wraiths. He's like, one bracelet to rule them all. Now I'm gonna take a nap. Meanwhile, dude's like, look, I'm sure you're all fine people, but I don't want to play Dungeons and Dragons with you virgins right now. I gotta go home and run the shop. She's like, that evil touring magician will literally kill you.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
The ring wraith paratroopers drop in. She's like, get behind me. No man can kill these. The battle begins. Dude's like, these nerds take live action roleplay way too seriously. Okay, maybe these cunts aren't pretending. Girl grabs him and they gap it. She's like, quick, the only way to lose ring wraiths is in this V8 sports car. In the car, dude's like, so wait, I'm actually the king of Gondor? She's like, what do you think I've been telling you, cunt? Their car gets rammed, they gap it on foot, but there's nowhere to go. You know, after seeing a ring wraith get out of an SUV, I feel like I've seen it all. Life only goes downhill from here. Can you imagine the nightmare the cops are going to have to deal with when they approach this crime scene? 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, hi, I'd like to report a mass murder in Soho. There's a bunch of dead Nazguls lying flat out on an SUV. It looks like a classic hit and run to me. Dead Nazguls? Yes. Mythical creatures from Tolkien's fictitious universe in London. Yes. We'll send an officer right away. Cut to India and Minas Tirith. Aragorn's mum is like, will my son ever return to the promised land? Next minute, he walks in. They stop to pay their respects to the tree of Gondor. She's like, fuck, cunt, you've been hitting chest at that gym, eh? She shows him that drip that comes with being the king of Gondor. He's like, mum, what happened to my dad? She's like, buckle up, son. I'm about to spill the tea. Your dad was a fucking alpha, slaying orcs and shit, protecting the people, but then one day he was coming home and heard a cry from a well, and he was like, oh shit, there's a baby drowning. He manued in, but it wasn't a baby. It was the work of that evil wizard Saruman, who proceeded to throw rocks at your dad until he drowned to death. So to sum it all up, the happy-go-magician you saw on tour killed your dad. He's like, fuck, that's a morbid story. He goes to his dad's grave and is like, if only brown people knew how to swim, we could save so many lives. The forecast changes to cloudy with a chance of black magic.
Listen.
He's like, hey mom, sorry for, killing your husband. She's like, who the fuck over the age of 12 still has a mohawk? He takes the insult to heart. He's like, no one makes fun of me mohawk. She gets put into a carbonite bath. Dude's like, no, not my mom. Saruman's like, cunt, you only knew her for like 2 hours. Get over it. Bye, lol. Cut to 5 hours later and this dude's still outside. They reenact that famous scene for Lord of the Rings. He's like, what the fuck is this tiny thing? She's like, look, we didn't get the same budget as Peter Jackson got. He's like, fuck your sword, bitch. Next morning, he's like, no budget, eh? Then what is this huge sword doing here? She's like, ah, fuck. He puts on his new drip and walks the runway at Tibet's next top model. They end up at this random gate that literally leads to nowhere. They're like, which fucking troll made this? Shake my head. The thing prank channels will do for views. She's like, I think we can walk over this straight up. He's like, what the fuck have you been smoking? They give it a go. Psych, turns out the Minecraft server just hadn't loaded properly. He's like, what the fuck is this place? Gay Atlantis? This dude's like, hey man, you want to buy some crack? He takes him to his main dealer. She's like, look, we don't want to buy crack. We just want to know where Saruman is hiding. Aragorn's like, cunt, you gonna tell me or not? He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it written down here on this cloth. He's like, yeah, just take the next train out of here and it should take you right to him. He's like, wow, really? It's that simple? How do you know if the train goes there? He's like, well, the train literally says Saruman's castle on it. Cut to Infiltration.
Watch out, watch out, watch out!
He's like, damn, I thought Sauron only made 9. She's like, go on ahead, king, I'll deal with them. Cut to Nazgul friendly fire. She's like, I need some volunteers for this next magic trick. Nazguls are like, pick me, pick me. She's like, ta-da! They're like, no fucking way. The idea that these supernatural faceless creatures would be like, no way, is that magic? Dude just casually rides a horse in front of the train while this poor girl's fighting 40 demonic creatures. He's like, she'll be right. Time for a joyride in the desert. They find this treasure chest which looks like it was bought from AliExpress. Inside they find the magic conch shell.
Oh, magic conch shell, what do we need to do? Nothing.
Horse is like, yeah, you cunts can sit there and do nothing, I'm off. He's like, why don't you ask it something? But before she has a chance to ask, this happens. That's an oddly specific weapon to have in your castle. Like missiles, nah. Flamethrowers, nah. Huge cannons that fire life-sized condoms at people? Yes. He tries to save her, but sitting in a dairy for 20 years didn't really prepare him to run the Saudi Arabian marathon. Just when all hope is lost, his best friend comes to cheer him up. Mr. Leaf's like, it's all good, man. She was a thought anyway, remember? He's like, why is it that every time I like a girl, she gets captured by a giant contraceptive? Mr. Leaf's like, cheer up, cunt. You know what you need? More friends. He's like, yeah, where am I going to get more friends? The leaves make a gateway. Mr. Horse shows up like, Jesus Christ, I left you cunts alone for 5 minutes and you've already fucked it all up. He ends up in this random cave. Indian Gandalf's like, good day, how the fuck are you? I've been in this cave ever since the fight with the Balrog. Just couldn't be fucked leaving, to be honest. He's like, you're the White Wizard, you have to help us. Gandalf's like, fine, there's a dope sword at the end of that puddle that only the real King of Gondor can pull out. Plot twist, brown people can't swim. He starts drowning but manages to doggy paddle his way to the sword. He pulls the sword out and stands in front of the tree of Gondor, striking his best Aragorn pose. Meanwhile, at Isengard, Saruman's like, yo, this cunt is coming for you, right? She doesn't look too confident about it. Cut to Nazgul working the security graveyard shift. The infiltration of Helm's Deep begins. Skate 4 looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Nazguls take the girl hostage. Let's be honest, the bar for men is pretty low, so she looks pretty stoked that this cunt even showed up. What the fuck is the point of having these things? Have they achieved anything in this film other than, I don't know, humiliation?
Oh my god!
They chase Saruman to this cliff. He's like, you know, you've come a long way since wanting my autograph at the magic show last week. He's like, fuck up, cunt, and de-stone my mum. Please? Saruman's like, upside down sword style. He's like, Aragorn pose. He's like, oh fuck, he looks cooler than me. They start bashing it out in the desert. Aragorn knocks him down, but he's like, for my final trick, spontaneous human combustion. Aragorn's like, no way, where the fuck did he go? Saruman hits it from the back. He ends up dying, but after a couple of minutes, he's like, wow, the afterlife is shit. They just make you rewatch all the traumas of your life. He smashes the ground out of frustration. Saruman tries to run away. He's like, you know what? The people of Salem were right. We should execute witches. He starts cutting up while simultaneously Mum starts coming back to life. He lands the finishing blow. Meanwhile, Mum's like, so what did I miss? Cut to the end of Bilbo's story, and that's how he became the rightful king. This kid's like, wow, what a shit story. Later that night, Kid is sleeping while a Nazgul shows up and the movie just ends. Fuckers really sat there at the end of the film like, they'll definitely want a part 2.
He narrated this idea to me, and as soon as it finished, I gave him a long, hard look. I just got up and hugged him. And I said, let's do it, let's make this film.
Started from actually Lion King.
The Lion King, where Simba works in a shop for 20 years and then kills an evil wizard a week later.
I'm not the kind of person who says instinctively, yes, I love the script very easily.
You aren't? Because the last 2 films we've seen on this channel would definitely say otherwise.
I dwell over a script, I like reading them.
That's her painstaking selection process, reading the script.
As soon as Goldie finished his narration, I told him I'm doing your film.
He came up with this idea of Drona. It really appealed to me and I said, okay.
The preparation was intense because it was a very physical film.
Drona is my first full-fledged action film. So yeah, I'm the action chick now.
Hello, this is Tom Delmar, Bollywood action director.
The action sequences was superb.
Initially, Drona was conceived without any songs. It's turning out to be a big film, and I really think you need music.
A fantasy action film without songs is unacceptable. We all know what this film needed.
The music in it is rock-based, electronica, and it's got this whole grungy vibe to it, pumped up, and it's got a certain amount of attitude. Very seldom do you see a woman not losing her feminine side, but still coming across strong, aggressive, and powerful.
Because beating up guys is only cool when you look hot while you're doing it.
On the first day on a set in Prague, you know, it was an action sequence, and she just nailed it, and we were like, wow. For an actor to do the kind of stuff that we were made to do in this film, it's demanding. It's always something that's very attractive to an actor, to play a flamboyant villain.
When we did the head, he felt very aerodynamic, and he felt like moving, you know.
Quite possibly the best justification for having a mohawk, to be more aerodynamic.
It's definitely not something you've ever seen.
It's an ultimate cinema experience.
I didn't care if I was in it or not, I just wanted to see this film.
And you have a great time.
Biggest magical adventure ever India has produced.
Upon release, this film was a disaster at the box office.
I pray that the movie does exceedingly well.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know which film we should do next in the comments, or you can message me on Insta or Twitter. Cheers.